Okay. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our 30-minute Tech Tools session, Creating Engaging Online Discussions Using Harmonize. We have 3 facilitators this morning, and I will give each of them the opportunity to introduce themselves. So let's start with Chad Foster.
Yes, thanks, Lisa. Hi, everyone. My name is Chad Foster. I'm in the Department of Safety and Security in the College of Justice, Safety, and Military Science, and I've been using Harmonize for 2 years now. So it's
Thank you, Chad.
great to join you all this morning.
Eric, could you introduce yourself, please?
Happy to. Good morning, everyone. I am Eric Brown, and I'm head of success here at Harmonize Learning. So I have an exciting presentation for you, and thanks for just getting up so early and joining us for this. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Eric. Embry, can you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, good morning. My name is Embry Jacobs. I am an instructional designer here at EKU, and I have been working with Chad Foster pretty closely on utilizing Harmonize in courses, and have also been kind of talking about Harmonize with the other instructional designers on my team. So it's a pretty awesome tool, and us here at the IDC are pretty excited about it.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And with that, Chad, we'll let you take over the discussion.
Yeah, no, thanks, Lisa. And again, it's great to see everyone today. So what I like to do is just kind of provide a little bit of a institutional context for our use of Harmonize here at EKU, and then I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Brown to talk more about the features of it and to get into more of the nuts and bolts, and then Embry can definitely help on the implementation side. So yeah, so again, just in terms of institutional context, this process really began during the pandemic. We were all searching for tools to better engage students in the online environment, not only for our traditional 8-week online classes, but also in our face-to-face classes. So it really began during the pandemic. A previous instructional designer, Esther Tattersall, some of you may know Esther, her and I were on the Blackboard, we're watching the Blackboard World Conference, and there was a presentation of Harmonize, and a lot of lights came on. We were looking for different tools to better engage students. I've always struggled myself with using text-based discussions in Blackboard, and I was trying to figure out better ways to to engage students. I was at the time using Flipgrid. Some of you might be familiar with Flipgrid as a way for students to record their discussions like you might have in the classroom. Although there were definitely limitations with Flipgrid in terms of being outside of the LMS, and there were some challenges getting students into it as well. So Harmonize being integrated into Blackboard showed a lot of promise and features, and that's kind of where it all started. And at the time, I was an FI, faculty innovator. So I took this on as a project under that umbrella, under the FIs, and under the support of Dr. Rusty Carpenter. And he's been really supportive of this since then. So that's kind of my role in terms of kind of this project. I don't know if you all can see my screen here. So last year we did a pilot project. We implemented a pilot project using Harmonize, where we intentionally integrated it into 4 online classes, and then we had some use cases in our traditional face-to-face classes as well. So I see there's a lot of use cases not only in our online classes but in traditional face-to-face classes as well, which is great. So we did it intentionally in 2022, 2023. We used it both in Blackboard Learn and Ultra. We collected data on it. We also polled students in terms of their usage. So we took a thoughtful approach during the pilot project to see how well it was really engaging students. And the results were really promising. I don't know if Embry might share some of those when we get to her. So we're currently in the first year of implementation. We have 1,000 seats available, and we're really kind of promoting the use of it among everyone at EKU. So with that, I'd like to just pause there and turn it over to Mr. Eric Brown, who can get into more of the nuts and bolts of Harmonize.
Excellent. Thank you so much. All right. So I want to show you some of those cool things that Harmonize can do. We are very limited in time. So I was telling you before we got started that Harmonize has a lot of really cool stuff. I don't want to overwhelm you, but we're going to hit some of the highlights, and I am available for you if you have any questions afterwards. So what I usually do is create a training called Harmonize 101, and has a few slides to it, and then we jump into the demo, and I can show you what Harmonize does. But for today, I am going to give you the condensed version. So give me just 1 second. I will get this shared for you. Okay, so give me just a quick thumbs up if you can see that. Appreciate it. Excellent. Okay, so again, this is usually a longer training, it lasts for an hour. We got about 10 minutes a day. So this is what we're all about, trying to get you to understand what Harmonize can do to help you create more engaging discussions and more inclusive discussions. We're all about saving you time, unleashing your potential as an instructor, and then just allowing you just to save time, right? You know what you want to teach. You want to be able to build those discussion prompts quickly. Then you want to jump in, interact with your students, and then you want to grade them. So let me show you how quickly we can do that. But first things first, I want to show you this slide because it's going to go by quick. This is about how to get to me. Again, I'm Eric and I run support here at Harmonize. But if you ever need anything from us, you want to just discuss Harmonize, you want to learn how to build your discussions properly, or you clicked something, your screen went black and your computer's on fire, reach out to us. I'm happy to talk to you about it. So support@harmonizelearning.com is where you want to go. The great thing about that address is it creates a ticket in our system that not only do I see, our product manager sees it, our engineer, and Marcus, our CEO. We all like to look at these tickets, see how to make Harmonize just a little bit better of a tool for all of you to see. And then if you're more into self-help, I encourage you to bookmark help.harmonizelearning.com. That is where you go to find all of your self-help resources. When you click on that link, it looks like this. If you just have a general question, you can search for it. But if you want to look at any of our features, have any questions, I take the time to write support articles for all of our features. There's usually a nice video at the top that explains the what and the why, and then underneath is the how, step-by-step instructions. So if you come here, I'm sure you'll find all the answers that you're looking for. If you're completely lost, you can click submit a support request and they'll get to me online. And I wanted to showcase this, which is the virtual training series. I mentioned that these trainings usually last for an hour. We have 2 different versions of them. The first one is Harmonize 101, where we talk about the click paths, just to get you very used to the click path and the buttonology of Harmonize, how to create your graded discussion. And then once you're used to it, Harmonize 102 unleashes some of the more advanced things that Harmonize can do. So pre-recorded sessions are available for each of those. So Harmonize 101 here at the top, and then the 102 at the bottom. So as you have time, I encourage you to come back, watch some of these things, and kind of see what some of the cooler things that Harmonize can do. And with that in mind, let's jump into Blackboard. Okay. So I mentioned before that Harmonize is all about trying to save you time, save you energy, have a tool that really helps unleash your potential as an instructor. So we're here to just make sure that you can do that and do it quickly, and then just make sure that it's easily accessible and it's easy for you to get into, focus more on the Harmonized discussion, the cadence of it, what you want your students to accomplish, and then just make it rich and exciting. So you'll see right away that Harmonize is a different kind of animal, right? You click on it, it opens up. Instead of these standard Blackboard discussions, you get something that is rich, you get something that is very engaging. So I'm going to click this just to open up in a new tab so we can see things a little bit better. There we go. And what I've created here is just a topic about principles of resilient design. And as you see, once you open this up, the first 2 things you see at the top are what are called the requirements. One of the cool things that Harmonize does is all about milestones. What milestones are multiple due dates. So now you can set up a discussion where you don't have to worry about the last minute rush. You know, this is due on Sunday, March 10th at midnight. You don't want the last minute rush and the cadence of the discussion to get lost. What we're instead asking the students to do is come in early, maybe make your 1 post. In this particular example, I have them coming in by the 5th and making 1 post, and then making another comment by the time this is due on the 10th. We have multiple ways to let your students know that they have to do this. We email them, we give them notifications that they can come in, and really it's all about getting that first post in and helping to gauge the discussion from there. If you have your students come in and they make their post, you never have to worry about someone saying, well, I want to make a comment, but I don't see any other posts. This is really going to help you flesh out the discussion. And as you see, as far as instructors are concerned, you get a high-level overview of how your students are doing. Every time your student opens this, they will see that they need to do one post and one comment. But you have a high-level overview of the activity in general. So for this particular demo, I put in some sample student work, and you can see if you hover over this, it tells you just how many students have completed the work, how many haven't started, and we can get into a little bit more grades and activity later. But here are your instructions. It's bright, it's vibrant. You have complete control over this. If you can move all this around, I call this the Harmonize Editor stack, and I'll show you that in a minute. But you have the ability to put pictures at the top, record a video of yourself, create a poll, all of these things that Harmonize can do just to really grab your students' attention. So in this particular case, we're talking about resilient design principles. I have a nice picture up at the top. And notice that you have this comment and annotate button that is there for you and for your students. If your students see the picture that you posted, if they want to jump in, make a copy of this particular picture and then start to annotate it, drop some pins, drop some thoughts. They are able to do that. Harmonize is all about letting your students interact with your discussion prompt in a way that they feel that really fits them. So they can use the videos, they can do annotations, they can just do a text. It's completely up to them. We don't limit them in that space. Here is your discussion prompt, and we leverage ChatGPT. We call it a harmonized brainstorm. And that is a tool that we have that helps you flesh out your ideas as far as your discussion prompt is concerned. It's a slick tool. I'm happy to show you that just at the end here. But within just a few seconds, I was able to give this a few words and then tell it to go, and it created this whole activity for me. It also formatted the activity, so it's nice, it's easily readable, and it tells the students just what they need to do to be successful in this particular discussion for this week. And then I rounded off my discussion with a TED Talk about climate resilient buildings. This is also another thing that you can use to flesh out your discussions. The great thing about it is that when you add videos to Harmonize, they play embedded inside of Harmonize. You don't have to worry about your students tumbling down that YouTube rabbit hole. If you click play, it'll play right here, and it's also closed captioning. So if the video that you embedded has closed captioning, it plays right here, no problem. And also, if you decide to record yourself using the built-in Harmonize video recorder, we also take the time to process it and auto caption that video, because we're all about making Harmonize accessible. So all of that's available to you. And the big difference here is when you scroll down, instead of the long, I call it the CVS receipt, right? Or it's just a long forum style, and it's kind of, you have to do a lot of scrolling. You don't have to worry about that with Harmonize. Every time a student posts work, it shows up as this card down here at the bottom. So it pops out for you. Any sort of pictures that they have or their profile picture will appear on that card. You can easily see just an overview of the kind of engagement that this has fostered. So here's the post. You can see that a student has made one comment on it already. This one has a comment and a teacher comment, so we can dive into those. So let's take a look. We'll click here. And notice that when I click on this card, it flips over and it shows you the more expanded view of the student's work. So I have turned on at the time. So anything over 30 words is going to get submitted to turn it in. It's going to give you a similarity score. And it also does AI detection if you're into turn in. So that's available. So you have 3 nice paragraphs here and then the nice picture. It's like, okay, Lavern's doing some good work. You want to see the comments that it fostered down here at the bottom, keep scrolling. And here's what I discussed before about a student being able to interact with any sort of rich media that's been posted by either their fellow students or the teacher. James came in, saw this image posted by Laverne, and was able to create a copy of it and then start to mark it up. So here are some squares that he put in here and also some call outs, these pins that he dropped, and just made some interesting things that other students can come in and see, fleshed out the conversation a little bit, right? So here's your graphic, here's some call outs, really helps that conversation keep going. I'm going to click on next post, and you'll see that again, if you want to get these instructions out of the way, just hit hide instructions, there we go. And here's James's work himself. He also did the same thing, added a nice image. And here is where you start getting into interacting, right? So you have a nice discussion. It's in play already. You love it. You want to just jump in and interact with your students and maybe nudge some of them in different directions. Harmonize has the ability to allow you just to jump in. You can create your own comments and replies that are public. But let's say you wanted to make it something private. You have a student that's maybe a little off track, or maybe you want to encourage them just to keep going. You're able just to come in and make private comments. You can tag them so that way they're getting notifications, and it'll tell them right away, this is a private comment between you and the student, but this is an encouraging one. It's a great work. You've met the requirements, but keep going. Help the conversation keep going. So many different ways that you can interact with your students. And then we're going to jump into, let's look at grades and activity just for a minute here. I talked about saving you time. This is we try to do this to give you a high level overview. If you look at the all students version of your grades and activity, it tells you all the information that you need. Let's say that this isn't due quite yet, but you want to see how your students are doing. It usually tells you how many posts and comments there are, whether the student has completed all of their milestones, whether they're in progress, or whether or not they've started. And the great thing is it tells you when students are ready to be graded. It means they fulfilled all their milestone requirements and you're good to go. And when you're ready to do that, you click here. It takes you to the individual student view. And here is where we give you all the information in one place. We are here to grade James, have a nice, easy grading infrastructure at the top. And when you're ready, you can see all of his public activity. So here is his post. Turn it in is there. And then the comment that he left is right down here. So you can easily see that. And when you want to interact with a student, and this is actually the live version of the discussion. So if you're in here and you want to reply to a certain student's work, if you want to react to it, like, well, I really love what James did here, just click here and give it a little thumbs up. Or you can leave private or public comments from here too, and it'll go directly to the student. Once you're ready to grade, it's as easy as giving James the full points. You can leave some instructor comments here if you want to, and then click submit next. And it goes to the next student. Up here are your milestones, which is really going to help you submit the grade that you're looking for. You can easily see that I needed one post and one comment from this student. This student has made the one post. It has a 100-word threshold. So it's completed, you get a nice green status bar, but they haven't quite done the one comment yet. It's blank, but it's not due yet. We're going to leave the student alone, leave a grade. But if you wanted to encourage them, give them some feedback, go ahead and jump in, click add comment or reply. Student will get that directly. So that 10 minutes went by really quickly. One last thing I wanted to show you. So I mentioned Harmonize Brainstorm, and I'm going to jump into Canvas for this. And I know you might be thinking about moving to Canvas or are in the process of moving to Canvas. So you don't quite have access to this fully, but I want to show you what Harmonize Brainstorm and the Harmonize rubrics can do. So let me just jump in here. This is Canvas. You can ignore this right now. And this in a new tab. All right. And let's say I wanted to create a discussion that's all about the principles of resilient design, basically recreating what we just did. So this is Harmonize Brainstorm, and this is Harmonize Rubrics. Let me show you how this works. I click on Generate Prompt. I throw in some words here. I adjust the complexity level. This is based upon Bloom's taxonomy. And I click Generate Topic Instructions. Now, you currently have access to this in Blackboard. So whatever ideas that you have, I encourage you to jump in, throw your ideas in, see what Harmonize Brainstorm can help build for you. Always tweak it, always proofread it. Don't take it at face value, it is AI. But this is a great way to help get those creative juices flowing. And this is entirely private. We don't use it to train any models or anything like that, so feel free. Once we're done, I'm going to add. Yes.
Yes, are rubrics new?
Rubrics are new. This is one of our newest features, which I was excited to show it to you. Currently, it's available inside of Canvas, but we are working to bring it to the other LMSs. So whether you have to wait until you're on Canvas to see it, or maybe you'll see it before that in Blackboard, I will keep you completely up to date. We're working hard to get it to you. But right now in Canvas, I will add this to my topic instructions. You'll see that it's automatically formatted for you and it's good to go. But now I'm going to click Generate Focus Areas. And you'll see that we have a nice bouncing graphic for you to kind of distract you. It does take about 30 to 45 seconds to really get this going, but what it's doing is it's reading the prompt that you just created and using it to generate focus areas. And from those focus areas, we use it to build a rubric for you. So here are your focus areas. This is what came up. You can always regenerate them if you want to, edit them or add to them as you like. But let's say we've done that process and we like it, and it's like, great. I'm going to click next, and it's going to tell you that you can either stop here, and this is always going to be available underneath your instructions. Your students will be able to see what they should be focusing on, help them be more successful in the discussion. But let's say you wanted a rubric to help you with grading. I click generate rubric, and it starts to do its thing. It takes about another 30 or 45 seconds, but it builds on your focus areas and it helps build your ratings and your rating orders. So you'll see it spinning. We try to make that a little bit more entertaining. No one likes to wait, but it's pretty quick, as you can see. And it gives you all of your focus areas and your ratings. You can adjust these as needed. And when you're ready, you click Save Rubric. And now when your students come in to see, I'm going to publish this. When your students come in to see, they'll be able to see your activity, all the pictures that you added, the videos that you might have added and recorded. And when they scroll down, they can see, what does success look like? They know exactly what they're supposed to be focusing on for this week. And if they just want to see what the rubric looks like, they can click View Full Rubric, and there it is. This is going to be available to you as the instructor, so it's going to show up in your grade book. You can grade according to it, and it'll go right into your grade book seamlessly. So I took more than my allotted time, I think, so sorry about that, but that's some of the cool things that Harmonize can do. And I showed you the self-help in the beginning because all of this that I just showed you, like let's say you wanted to think about Harmonize rubrics. Just a simple search. You click here, and not only do I provide a nice video for you that talks about the why and the what, but underneath, when you're ready, Eric, I like this, I want to get started, here are your step-by-step instructions with screenshots. So I'm here for you. Any questions? I have some self-help stuff, or if you just want to talk to me, meet with me, I'm happy to walk you through it. Support@harmonizelearning.com is your best friend. So, and with that, I will conclude, but I'll hang around for questions too.
Awesome. Embry, did you want to add a little something before we open it up to questions?
Yeah, sure. So again, my name's Embry. I'm an instructional designer here at EKU. And really what I just want to pipe in with is that if you're interested in using this product, I'm more than happy to meet with you and talk about the specific ways that you want to implement it or that you're interested in trying it out in your class. I loved Eric's presentation just now. I just learned a lot about the platform that I didn't even know, and he was using it in ways that we haven't gotten around to using it yet. So I would love to try out that annotation tool. That looked awesome. We haven't gotten to that yet. I just want to emphasize that the way that we've used it primarily in online courses at EKU is with video discussion. And I think that Eric didn't have an example of that, but I have. Hopefully Eric will be pleased by this. I have some resources that I've created as well about how to set up harmonized video discussion in your courses, and I'll make sure I share those with you. I have a video overview of basically everything Eric just talked about, and then as well as some EKU job aids about inserting this product into your course specifically while we're still in Blackboard. So the video discussions, I think, has been so powerful. It is really emphasizing that community of inquiry, that peer-to-peer ability to actually see your classmate and talk to them and see faces and hear voices. And something else that I think Eric mentioned that I think is amazing is the accessibility aspect of Harmonize, and love hearing about the rubrics as an ID who's following quality matters. One of the biggest thing is having rubrics. So I'm happy to hear that in Canvas we'll be able to have rubrics. Hopefully that's integrated into Blackboard soon. Chad mentioned that we have surveyed some students, and I do have just a little infographic that Chad put together that I just have up. So we've surveyed about 3 classes now, and most of them look very similar to this graph right here. So the majority of students are reporting that Harmonize is accessible. Harmonize is extremely easy to use. Harmonize supported significant peer engagement, and Harmonize supported significant learning, if not some learning. So again, this is a small sample size, but basically term after term, this is pretty much what our students are reporting. I think that it is, like I said, a really powerful engagement tool where students actually feel like they're getting to know and getting to see their classmates. So another way that we've used it is that we've kind of used it as a final project presentation as well, where students have created a graphic like in Eric's example, and then other students have been able to come in and view that graphic and make comments on that graphic. But I think, as Eric showed, seems very dynamic. There's lots of different ways that we could implement this in your course. So I'm really curious about working with other instructors and other programs and other colleges and really figuring out how can we use this, how can we explore this. As Chad showed before, we have like 800 seats right now. So we have lots of space and lots of room for people to hop in and try this out. Definitely looking at mostly using it in smaller courses, like courses that have, less than 50 students right now. But I think that one day it could be expanded to larger courses, larger classes. And something else that Eric didn't mention and that I think is really important for you to know is that this tool integrates with your groups in the LMS. You don't really have to do anything. It automatically syncs with the groups that you've already set up in Blackboard. And I'm assuming it's the same with Canvas as well. So if you do have a larger class or you want students to work in small groups, whether that's 5, 10, 20, the things can be set up so that those are automatically synced. Grades sync as well. They sync directly into the LMS. And once we have that rubric, I feel like this is really a great platform to try out and utilize. So I am going to drop in the chat my resources that I've created if anybody wants to grab those. Hopefully I've made them shareable to anybody that has the link. Y'all know how that goes sometimes. But in this link, you will find a video on Harmonize at EKU, and you will find a job aid for integrating it into Blackboard Ultra, as well as integrating it into Blackboard Learn. Again, my name is Embry Jacobs. You can email me. I'm happy to chat with you about this, just as I'm sure Eric and Chad are.
Thank you so much, Embry. And I can share all that information in my follow-up email to all the registrants. So no worries if it doesn't show up right in the chat. All right, with our time remaining, do we have any questions for our presenters today? Feel free to unmute, drop it in the chat, whatever you're comfortable with.
Maureen, I would just add what I've observed with at least the students who we work with who've been using Harmonize for quite a while now. Is they're really, I see a lot more use of the tagging, the reacting. They're really getting into it more than initially, which I think is interesting. So I just thought to put a plug in there, and it is really intuitive to add a discussion. So
as with anything, I think that confidence gets built over time, right? So I think it will be interesting to look at how students use Harmonize if you put it into your 100 level courses and then into your 200 level courses and then so on, and see how does the engagement with the software, as with anything, change over time. And I think that Chad is exactly right, that as students get more confident, they're going to be more willing to explore all that they can do in a platform. So it's always interesting from a teaching point of view how students interact with the tools that you provide them with. But really, I think that's about instilling confidence. And, the more times they're seeing Harmonize, the more willing they're going to be able to jump in and just get started.
Fantastic. Any other questions or comments with the time we have remaining? All right. I'm seeing no questions. Camille?
Yeah, I just wanted to make a comment. I was really glad that Eric showed the comparison to Flipgrid and how they can be similar, but this product offers more options. And thanks for covering Canvas too, because that was my question also. Can it transfer over? So I look forward to evaluating and playing with it some.
Glad to hear that.
Fantastic. We have time for maybe one more question or comment. All right, with that, we're going to wrap it up. Thank you so much, Chad, Eric, and Embry. We appreciate you sharing this valuable information with us. I will be sending out an email with Embry's resources, a link to the recording, and a short Qualtrics survey. So if you wouldn't mind filling that out to help guide future programming, I'd appreciate it. Thank you all so much and have a wonderful day.
Thanks.
Bye now.